Hello, how are you everybody? Looking forward to seeing you all jump on, or if you missed this live, then I will pick up any of your comments in the once the replay is up, and I'll pop back within the next 24 hours to pick those up for you. Anyway, today it's Friday, nearly the weekend. Every day is like a weekend for me though, so that's all good. But where are you in the world? Let me know where you are watching this from. And today we're going to talk about productivity. I seem to be talking to people about productivity lots and lots, so I thought let's share some tips around how we can work smarter and be more productive without burning ourselves out. And these are like little life hacks really, and I'd love to hear you share your tips as well, because I'm sure you've got some good habits as well as some of the bad habits, and hopefully you'll be able to start shifting some of those bad habits from anything you pick up from this webinar. Now, have you heard of Parkinsons Law? Now, Parkinsons Law basically states that a task will become bigger in importance, complexity in relation to the time we give it for its completion. So, for example, if I gave you 12 hours to complete a project, the time pressure would force you to focus on just getting it done, and you'd have no choice but to do basically only the essentials that actually matter. But then, of course, if I gave you 1 week to complete the same task, you would then have 6 days of excuses, procrastination, validation, and then you'd have a day of rush work at the end. Does that sound familiar? Give me a show of thumbs up if that's you. Now, what I wanted to do was to share 8 productivity strategies for you to study, go and seek some more information out in relation to these, and to implement. And I suggest picking, hi Linda, good to see you here, picking 1 or 2 that will make the biggest difference to you. And then once you see results, then move on to the next one. So what we're aiming for is mastery rather than overload. So the first thing to talk about is refusing interference. So how do you fight distraction in your life? Because everybody is wanting your focus, particularly women. I think we're always juggling so many demands from people. We have too many people stealing our attention, and of course our children are brilliant at this. So here is the thing: don't be generous, or don't be so generous in giving your time. And this is a real habit that you have to work on and become conscious about to break. So, for example, it could be, in terms of, I know that every time I sit down to the computer, the children might suddenly go, "Mum, can you go and do this?" And I just say, no. So how do you manage your children, if you have children, and stop them from distracting you from the task you've sat down to do, or you've gone off to do? Things you can do as well to help fight distractions is cleaning out distractions from your workplace and personal life. And a great way to think about this is Robin Sharma, who is a fantastic personal development guru and leader. He shares that the special forces, when on a military mission, are kept in isolation from other teams. So they're not given access to TV or newspapers or the internet. And this is to protect their focus so that they deliver their goals, because, well, distraction is the greatest thief of time. And of course, time is one thing that's non-renewable. So think about how you can prevent yourself from being distracted. And I'll come on to some more ideas around how you can get in the zone in relation to that in a minute. The other thing to do to become your productivity ninja is to stop multitasking. So drop a 2 in the box if you are a multitasker. Now, the larger point here is that so few of us are fully present in work or the task in front of us. And a great example of this actually is you can only have to go to a restaurant to see families at dinner together and everyone's on their mobile phones. I remember when I was in Ibiza a couple of years ago, we went out with some family friends, and I was the only one that didn't have my phone at the table, and everybody, including the grown-ups, they were all on their phones. So of course I had to say something. So it's like, just felt a bit like a lemon. I thought, this is ridiculous. You know, we need to be in the now, present in the now. And you have, you know, employees at work on Facebook or texting instead of working. Just some simple examples there. And a huge advantage actually falls to just 1 in 100 people who can develop the skill of being massively focused on the one core thing in front of them. And that's completely game changing. So the third thing, yes, Linda, I just spotted your number 2. So you're a multitasker. So what can you do to be more focused and present in the now? I have a sip of my drink whilst I wait for you to reply. There might be a little delay actually, so I'll pick it up in a second. So stop multitasking. And the third thing I wanted to talk about was killing procrastination. Procrastination, so many people procrastinate by waiting for the ideal conditions to get, you know, big things done. And the perfect time just never comes. You have to be brave and just leap before you're ready to do it. We learn, you know, we learn as we earn. So it is that best foot forward, be bold and just do it. So pop a 3 in the box if you procrastinate, and have a think about what you could do to stop procrastination. Obviously, there's a lot of things you can do in terms of mindset work as well. But here we're looking for things that you can do to help make sure you get the task done. So a great thing I like to do is there is, which links in with Parkinson's Law, there's a tool called, it's a website that's called tomatotimer.com, and I'm just going to get the web address for you. So tomato-timer.com. And what you do is you go on there and you can give yourself 25 minutes to do one particular task, and then it will have a little alarm that will go off after 25 minutes. And the benefit of doing this is basically you have a sense of how long you're taking to do something, but also if you think I've just got 25 minutes to do this, you're more likely to get it done than if you think, right, I'm going to do the washing up first and then I'm going to do this, and you don't actually put a time frame around it. Oh, we've got lots of procrastinators here. So hopefully this is useful for you. So tomatotimer.com has been an absolute game changer for me. It's a little tool that I like to use, and it just really helps you to manage your time and kills procrastination, because you're like, right, I've got to do it now. My other favorite tip is to write a stop doing list. So what I mean by this is to stop living week by week, and a stop doing list is just as important actually as a to-do list, because every productive person I know writes a to-do list. So drop a 4 in the comments if you have a to-do list. And those that are up leveling their game, what they do is they've got their to-do list, and then they look at and identify and record what they need to stop doing, and they commit to it. So Steve Jobs, you know, was known to say that Apple's success was not so much on what they chose to build, but all the projects they chose to ignore. So make a stop doing list today. And I'd love to know what's on your stop doing list. And it might be things like, it's part of that is like, who else could do something for you? Can you delegate anything that you don't have to do it yourself, so that your time can be better spent elsewhere? Now this one, getting into the zone. We are completely addicted to distractions. So we're back talking about distractions and how we can get into the zone, because our brains love it when we see we have a new email, a new text message, a new Facebook notification, and we drop everything to get our dopamine fix, you know, the feel-good drug. You're actually 3 times more productive when you're in the zone. So my top tip is to turn off your notifications, turn off your devices so you can focus, and you will get massive results. So I have on my phone, where is it? I have turned off all the notifications for text messages, Facebook, emails, WhatsApp, all the various apps that we all have on our phones, so that I don't see the little the numbers coming up or anything in terms of alerting me to what's come through. It doesn't go ping or zing or whatever noise it makes, so that I don't have that temptation to go, oh, let me just go and have a look at that. So I choose to go and check it out when it suits me, rather than responding to it, if that makes sense. So it keeps you really in the zone. And I've also turned off all my notifications that they seem to automatically come up when you have a computer. So whether it's on Facebook or email, or the computer has notifications, so that they've all gone as well, so that I can, if I'm writing a document, stay in the zone. It doesn't say, oh, an email's come through from somebody, where you go, it's a bit like a squirrel, like, oh, look over there. An email, I must go and answer, and then you never get anything done. So stay in the zone. And then the next tip I wanted to share with you, I'm calling this sell yourself. So the reason why most people can't focus is they actually haven't bought the reason they're doing the task. So they know the importance of what they're doing, the purpose, the ideal outcome that they want to get. But that said, if you procrastinate, then you haven't sold yourself on your goal or task yet. And a good example of this is, if you haven't sold yourself on how bad smoking is, then you'll keep smoking. So a question to ask yourself is, what do you need to sell yourself on? What are you procrastinating on? And if you're feeling brave, share it in the comments. And a great way is to help you get started is to reverse engineer your project. And I got really good with this, with project management and business planning through my career. And you'll know the final result you're after. You know the final result that you're after. And then what you do is you reverse engineer this big goal into a series of small, actionable steps that you can then put into a brief plan for action. And that just keeps you really focused. It keeps you out of overwhelm as well. So it will work for you. It's a bit like that, you know, to eat an elephant, you bite it off chunk by chunk. And I shared a great document, which will be in the files section within this group, of a picture of an elephant, basically, that you can literally just draw your tasks out on it, so that you're biting your big project, your big elephant, off chunk by chunk. Just use whatever works for you. So whether it's an Excel spreadsheet creating your plan, or an elephant, then go for it. And the 8th tip is a kind of an obvious one, but it's practice being productive, because the more you practice what you know, the better you get at it. If you think of any sportsman, but, you know, professional basketball player who knows how to shoot a free throw, they know how to do it, and they practice it every day over and over again. So practice what you know over and over again. And what you're doing is you're building the productivity muscle memory. So practice work then that matters, and then you practice sitting focused for many hours on a single result. And a time's going to come when you're just performing it swiftly, elegantly, unconsciously, because you've just built that muscle. And if you're practicing procrastinating, being non-productive, because you're now unconsciously doing it, that's going to be the shift for you, is that you now need to start practicing being productive, building that muscle memory, so it comes to a point where you're just doing it. And just by taking one of these strategies and implementing it, you'll see huge changes in your productivity, performance, and lifestyle, so that you can work smart and not hard. That's the thing. I think people can get completely overwhelmed, and if you don't have systems in place and develop good work ethics, then it can be really challenging. Now, there's a great book, one of my favorite books, called The Productivity Ninja, which is why I've called this Facebook Live, Are You a Productivity Ninja? I highly recommend it. One of the tips that I implemented in and I think I shared this with Linda and Emma the other day, was in relation to how I manage my inbox for my emails. So I used to have like a filing system where emails would come in, and I would deal with them, and then I would put them into, you know, a file specifically for them. In the Productivity Ninja, what he says to do is you waste so much time in this process by actually, even filing each email into the relevant inbox, that actually what you can do is you just have 3 files within your inbox. You have one for action, one for reading, and one for pending. What happens is, so he recommends each day you, in the morning, just scan your emails. Anything you can deal with in 2 seconds, you deal with. Anything that's going to take a bit longer, you pop in your action box. For later, for when you have allocated time to do your emails. So say you allocate half an hour, or say you allocate an hour, that's the time you spend on your emails, no more. So this is where you can use your tomato timer to make sure that your time's not getting sucked away by emails. And then you have your reading filing system inbox. And what I love about this one, so this is where you put, you know, all those emails you get with really good content. You think, I'm going to sit down one day and I'm going to read that. I'm going to really enjoy it. I'm going to take notes. And you never do, but it just kind of clogs up your inbox. Is if you pop it into your reading section, then it's there in a nice safe place for you to do that. I have to say, I use it, and I have never, and I've operated this system for a few years now, never gone into my reading system, reading box to check stuff out in there. But it's a great way if you can't quite get around to deleting it, that you just know you've got this library of information there. And then the last one is the pending. So of course, if you've sent an email out to somebody and you can't do anything further until they reply, you can put that email into the pending inbox as like a reminder. And I have it unmarked, unread marked. Yes, that's the right way around. So that I will clock, oh, there's something in there that needs my attention at some point. So it's just 3 inboxes, or 3 folders within your inbox rather. Often people will ask me the question in terms of, well, how do I find anything? That's why I file everything. Well, actually just use the search function. And it's so true. So I had to really let go of my old filing system, but it has saved me buckets of time. I can't tell you. I used to feel like at work that I was just kind of managing my email. Email was taking over my life. Everybody just seemed to spend all day doing emails. It was crazy. But actually I found, using the system, I spent less time doing emails, which was just brilliant. I got some back. So sending less emails as well. And so therefore I was actually receiving less emails too, because people would actually talk to me or pick up the phone. So I highly recommend it. That has been probably the best tip for me that I took out of the Productivity Ninja book. And it's certainly a book I think that probably I should go back and have a little look at to see how I can make myself even more productive. Anyway, I'd love to hear your tips of how you are being your own productivity ninja, what I have shared with you today, what resonates, what you might like to take away and implement for yourself in your own life so that you can work smart rather than hard. Thank you so much for joining me. Really lovely to see you. Thanks, Linda. Thanks, Anna. And speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.